Kiss 100% stamina. Nobody can funk for longer. Nobody.
Oh yeah, starting in a very funky style. White Knight, New World Order, that's a remix. And before that, Human Beings, Phase, the Speedy J remix on Deviate Records. Colin Faver on Kiss, 18 minutes after 9. Many thanks to Sarah HB. Sarah's back on the radio Thursday night, Friday morning at 1 a.m. for her own show. Make sure you check that out. From now until 11, this is the style of music you can expect. And around 10 o'clock, believe it or not, Kelly Hand. Okay, next one up is the Wise Caucasian and a track called Inner Sanctum on Mosaic Records. Check this one.
your bass bins, I'm telling you.
Atkins with the voice transmission from Deep Space Central. You're listening to Colin Faver on KISS 100 FM, London.
Colin Faver and Kiss. That's Phaser Unbalanced on the Petite Prince label. Top of the hour, I'm going to be talking to K-Hand from Detroit. Meanwhile, between now and then, lots of hot tunes. This is Abstract Reality on Test Tube Records.
This is Global Warning. K-Han is in the house with Colin Faver on KISS 100 FM.
the incredibly brilliant Holy Ghost from the Double 12, The Mind Control of Candy Jones, which is soon come on Tresor Records. And hopefully Holy Ghost will be guests on the show in a couple of weeks' time. And I play that for everybody that was down at Absolute on Friday night, and giving you the details of this week's Absolute later on.
It undergoes a series of strict tests to make sure it's safe, which is just as well for something like a painkiller or a headache tablet. So what do you think they test ecstasy on? Nobody really knows what the long-term effects of ecstasy could be. Basically, anyone who takes it is a human guinea pig. If you want to know more about ecstasy, call the National Drugs Helpline free and in confidence on 0800 77 66 00. Ecstasy. Know the score.
Colin Faver, Kiss 100 FM.
And if you don't like it, kiss my
rhythm, 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 rhythm.
This is Colin Faver on Kiss FM. My special guest tonight is Kayhan from Detroit. Hi, Kay.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for coming in. You played at our club Deep Space in London last night. That was your second time DJing in London, I believe.
Yeah, second time. Other time was at Ministry, and I had a lot of fun last night. Very nice.
So you enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it very much, very much.
Do you find the crowds react differently in England to America?
I think they act the same, actually. I think they respect our music more, from America, and they appreciate our music more. It's no different as far as the club goers and dancers there.
Are you actually playing quite frequently in Germany at the moment? Or you're backwards and forwards to Europe? Are you there quite often?
Very much so. I haven't been in the past month or so. I'm taking off next month, so I probably won't be flying back out until October, November. But Germany is definitely, I've always, been there in the past few months, and hopefully I'll be going very soon back.
You've actually recorded stuff for European labels too.
Yes, I have. K7, quite a few. Radical Fear.
They're the people that do the X-Mix series, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. When did you actually first start DJing?
Oh, I started DJing, but actually as a hobby in 88, 89.
Way back when?
Way back.
And what were you actually playing then?
I was playing more house music, a lot of the stuff that Larry Levan used to play, real deep house, club stuff. Of course, house music had just came into play back then, but any of the stuff that he would play in, or what they would play in the Paradise Garage in New York.
So that was your kind of major influence?
Majorly.
At the beginning?
Yeah.
Are you working regularly in Detroit at all? I heard Stacey Pullen's got a club there on Thursday. Have you played there?
Yeah, I played. It's called The Shelter. And I played there Thursday night. And it's pretty nice. They're trying to get, a scene going there every week, so people have a place to go in Detroit, as it is always known to be very dead. But
yeah. It's about time something happened at the home of techno.
Exactly. So I give respect to him for doing that.
First track we're going to play by you is Global Warning, which was released in this country on Warp Records.
Correct.
Tell me about this track.
Oh, it's like one of my favorite. It actually was a warning from we had on the news in Detroit. And when I heard about this, it was like a hurricane warning, weather warning. And I just thought maybe I'd write a track about, the happenings of what was going on in Detroit. And it's like one of my favorites, very deep sounding.
Cool. This is Global Warning.
Yeah, hopefully one day it'll make the news intro or something when the weather is going bad in each country and state. This is a global warning.
This is a global warning.
This is K-Hand and Global Warning.
This is a global warning.
Colin Faver.
And not a wave station. This is a global warning. And not a wave station. This is a global warning. The underground, not a wave station. This is a global warning. The underground, not a wave station. This is a global warning. This is a global warning.
Colin Faver on Kiss. My special guest tonight, Kay Hand from Detroit. That's Global Warning. Do you find being a woman DJ, you get treated very differently in America? And why do you think there aren't more women DJs?
And well, yeah. As a matter of fact, I think what I have noticed, there are more female DJs in other countries other than America. I don't know why there aren't any more DJs in America, but I do know there are some DJs that are doing it as a hobby. They just haven't came forth, in America.
Right.
They're either scared or they feel like they're not ready.
Maybe they just think it's a man's world.
Exactly, and I think what they need to do is just go out there and try it and just not pay attention to any opinions and just do what they really like to do, like I did,
yes.
or like I'm doing.
So, apart from playing everywhere, of course, you have your own label, Acacia Records. Mm-hmm. When did you start out?
I started it in 1990, and started it with the help of Matt, Mike, and Jeff Mills. They basically, got me up and running, helped me, gave me all the names, all the contact names, and I just took it from there. And ever since then, it's like C'est La Vie.
What was the first release you did?
Ready for the Darkness.
Uh-huh.
That was the first release.
Oh, shit, I actually have that.
Yeah, well, actually, I've done an album off of that particular song.
Uh-huh.
And that should be coming out soon, as soon as it gets picked up.
Next track we're going to hear Midnight Train, which is one of our favorite tracks. In fact, tell me about this.
Oh, I was thinking about the Midnight Train to Georgia when I did the song, and I said, hey, it's one of the old classic songs, and I did it for Radical Fear label out of Belgium, and worked out pretty well, disco-y.
Yeah.
I had to give that little feel.
Okay, let's boogie down. This is Midnight Train. and Midnight Train. I heard that you're involved in an all-women's compilation album.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
MC Projects?
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
It's a group called Baby G, and it was about 6 or 7 of us, all women, who did remixes off of her tracks. It's a pop band, and actually the remixes turned out very well. Shout outs to Tomoko, who put the whole project together, and respect to Swatch, who is sponsoring the project. We all did interviews. It's going to be coming out in Tokyo as well. We did photo shoots.
What other women DJs are involved in that?
Actually, Andrea Parker. There's a couple of more DJs. I don't quite know their names because there's so many of us there. I don't remember. But everybody is involved in the music, but and remixing, and it worked out really well.
Do you know when that's due for release?
I think it's coming out in September.
Cool.
Yeah, the first project, and then they're going to do a front cover for Of All Our Faces out of Tokyo.
How many releases have you actually had on Acacia?
Oh, we're up to 31 now.
And how do you decide on what tracks to release? I mean, people send you demo tapes, obviously.
Yeah, I actually half of the 31 tracks I released from someone else across the country. And in the future, we're going to, sort of be a little bit more lenient on not as releasing so many tracks from people across the world. So all the people who are on it, I thank them for issuing the cassettes and the music to Acacia.
I was going to say, do you actually sign people just like for one-offs, or you don't sign people for long-term and kind of mold their careers? And
in the beginning, I would like to do something, long-term, but it's pretty hard and difficult sometimes to deal with artists on that level.
When you can't give them huge advances of cash money.
Exactly. So one-off deals are a lot more simpler.
Sure. You're doing a lot of remix work, see your name and creeping up on a lot of labels at the moment.
Yeah.
And one I got recently, Zeno Accelerate, which is on Reload Records from Belgium. Tell me about this track. How did you get involved in that?
Well, actually, I did a party in Belgium, and I ran into the head guy from Reload, and he asked me to do a remix on one of their projects, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I like all their stuff, so, it's more, especially on the techno side, it's more my style.
Yeah.
And I just did it, and it turned out well.
Yeah, it's turned out great. This is Zeno and the K-Hand remix of Accelerate. Colin Faver on Kiss, my special guest tonight, K-Hand. Yeah, you seem to be doing more and more remixing at the moment. You spend a lot of time in the studio doing that. Do you have your own studio at home where you work?
Yeah, I have my own studio. It works out a lot better that way. You don't have to bug anybody for time anywhere else. Then you have to wait on an engineer to come work the equipment. So I'd rather do all the pushing the buttons myself.
do everything yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you approach remixing somebody else's track?
Well, basically, I haven't approached anyone. Most of the people approach me, and they usually send me faxes and ask me.
No, I mean, when you're in the actual studio and you've got the song.
Oh, as far as remixing, well, I just listen to the original of the track, and then I just I take it where I would do it like my style, my type of way, how I think it should go. Uh-huh. You know, sometimes I don't like to listen to the original because it sort of throws me off. You know, like, for example, the MC Projects track, I rather had not listened to the original, just did the track. You know, sometimes it works out better that way because then you don't get, you know, your mindset, you're in a different mindset and you can just go in and do it and not have the original ideals in your head.
Sure. Next track we're going to hear is another remix you've done. It's not released yet. It's Metasphere remix of Monomorph.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one.
Yeah, they, of course, here out in London, Laura Gavor at Transmat called me and asked me to do the remix for them. Of course, they had called her, and I'd done the remix really fast, got it out, and it worked out well. It's more on the same lines of the Accelerate stuff.
Yeah, this is hard acid style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear it. This is K-Hand and the remix of Monomorph.
Texas' largest sanctuary.
That's due out soon on Molecule Records. You know when it's released? That one?
You know what? I don't know.
I think they did mention something like October to me when they gave me the tape.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
There's an album due out, On a Journey. Is that your first album?
Yes, that one came out I think it was the first week in April.
Oh, right.
Yeah. K7.
We haven't actually got a copy of that.
Oh, you didn't get one?
No.
I will fax them and have them to send you one.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Well, the second one is coming out now.
There's a double compilation 12-inch on Acacia we got this week. Is that from an album?
Yes.
And
actually, it's a mini compilation that's gonna be taken out for the Acacia compilation CD, which will be a double pack.
And who else is on that?
Oh, I have a list. Whamdoo Kids, Hiroshi Muroroshi, Mad Max.
Who is Mad Max? He's from Germany.
Yeah, he's from Germany.
Yeah, I really like that double 12 you released.
Oh, yeah. He's got another double pack coming out. There's like a double we're doing a double pack CD, so we're talking 24 artists, or at least a good 18 artists that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, the Whamdoo Kids seem to be picking up a good reputation in England as well at the moment. They do stuff for Strictly Rhythm too.
Yes, yeah. Actually, they're signed to Strictly Rhythm, but they just do side projects on occasion. Actually, we were the first ones to put their records out.
Final track we're going to listen to is Come On Now Baby from Astral Works.
Okay.
4-track it came
out. That's the tune.
Tell me about this one.
Well, it's on a compilation called The Third Wave. We're like the third wave generation out of Detroit that does techno music or just music, period. And Peter Wolhalski from Astral Works called me up and asked me to do a track for the compilation. And I thought maybe by doing a house song it would be, or just music, period. I'm not going to title any music.
Yeah.
It would work out well, and it did.
Do you always know what you're going to do before you go in the studio, or do you just kind of get in there and mess around and something comes together?
Yeah, most of the time I do know what I'm going to do before I go in.
And you actually play many instruments?
Well, I program a lot of instruments, but I don't play them. I am working on playing the piano and learning how to play the piano.
Cool.
So that's working out well.
Okay, let's hear it. This is Come On Now Baby. That's Come On Now Baby. Our Baby from Kay Hand, my special guest tonight. And unfortunately, that's about all the time we have. Any other remix projects you want to tell us about coming up?
Let's see, what else is coming up? At the moment, I don't think I have anything. I don't have any papers right in front of me. But because I'm in another country, and I just don't have that much files in my brain.
Any other artists you'd really like to work with in the future?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, speaking of remixing and new artists in the future, I am going to be producing Donna Black, which is from Big Bang out of Detroit. She actually sounds like Madonna. I'm going to be putting that out on Detour Records, which is a subsidiary of A&M London, and who I'm signed to right now. And there's a new project that's coming out called K-Hand, the Next Project, which will be coming out in the next month or so. So the last project will be of Donna Black, and it'll be remixes from her 2 original tracks.
Are you actually putting stuff out under any other names yourself?
Yeah, you know I am. I do so much music. Queen Mecca. I am Queen Mecca, actually. They did the Stepping Stone on Transatlantic 2 with Digo. And I'm going to be doing some drum and bass and jungle.
You like jungle music?
Oh, yeah, I love it. And I got a hip-hop track coming out on Sublime Records, too. That's my first hip-hop track. Very interesting.
So much music.
Yeah. Also, I'm Rhythm Formation. So that's where the album, I derived the album off of Rhythm Formation, which will be the K-Hand Ready for the Darkness album. Will be coming out.
Anything else coming on Acacia we should know about? 12s? Hot ones?
Well, I can't say right now. But we're working on a compilation right now. We're doing a double pack. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and, continue on releasing the records.
Well, we look forward to getting it through the post.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
When you coming back to London? Any plans?
Yeah, actually, I plan on coming back for a week to stay. I'm just hooking up with everybody, trying to get in the studios and stuff.
Okay, well, we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks very much for coming and playing at the club and coming in and talking to us.
Well, thanks for having me. I had fun.
Cheers, Kelly.
All right.
We've got 4 musical flavours this Saturday at the Satellite Club, when resident Craig DeMett plays host to the pumping house frequencies of Lyndon C, Angie Morris and Dave Stewart in Galactic Heights. Levan's Comet is where you'll find Booker T, Dennis Valentine and Helen Rhodes, whisking up a smooth blend of garage grooves alongside resident Seamus. Doors open at 10, it's 8 before 11, more after. The Satellite Club, a Mooncat production, this and every Saturday at the Coliseum, Vauxhall.
To prove to you Brits how good Shots American-style alcoholic seltzers are, the folks who make them want me to try them on some Americans. I said, are you kidding? The Yanks will swallow anything. They'll love these. So now I'm in Trafalgar Square looking for tourists. Hey, pal, I guess from those 7 camcorders, you must be Americans.
Yeah, that's correct. My name's Bob Melman.
Well, Bob, we're trying out Shots alcoholic seltzers. I've got cranberry, vanilla, or lemon flavor. Why don't you give that cranberry a whirl?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? I'll have
Okay,
some.
while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you about Trafalgar Square. You've come for a look at Nelson's column, right?
Well, not really. I'm lost. See,
Magnificent specimen. You see, old Nelson was a famous lion tamer. When he died, the royal family loved his show, built a statue in his honor. Below him are the lions he worked with. There's the one that tore his arm off.
I'm glad I missed that.
And ridiculous, huh? What about the shots? Is that ridiculous?
Oh, this is really good.
And it's 5.3%.
Wow.
So, Bob, which gets your vote? The statue or the seltzer?
The seltzer, of course. Oh, there's
there
my
you
wife.
have it. Proof the Americans will swallow anything. But given the choice, they go for Shots alcoholic seltzers.
I spilled some on me.
Classic Club Cuts presents 2 trance albums to take you away. Progressiva, the best of the Italian underground, mixed by Gigi D'Agostino, the sound of summer in Europe this year, and The Beginner's Guide to the Galaxy of Psytrance, a greatest hits of the psychedelic trance scene, featuring classic tracks and exclusives from acts like Minefield, Hallucinogen, and Prana. Progressiva and The Beginner's Guide to the Galaxy of Psytrance on all formats on Active Records.
What do you get?
I got some doves.
Yeah? Any good?
Depression, panic attacks, liver and kidney failure, or possibly even brain damage. They could all be caused by taking ecstasy, even if it's pure.
Don't think I'll bother.
If you want to know more about ecstasy and its effects, call the National Drugs Helpline free and in confidence on 0800 7766 00. Ecstasy. Know the score.
Colin.
Okay, I must thank K-Hand very much for coming in and talking to us and doing a mix. And I'm sorry it took so long to get the interview to you, but people were on holiday and you know the score. We got there in the end. Got to say hi to Colette, still working hard down at Future Tracks. Also, to Mike Hope, you are over the worst. That's the message, and that's from Lee. Dave Angel. What's happening in the clubs? We'll find out after this. That's Dave Angel and Faver. And running out of time, so I've got to get through this quickly.